This poster here that you see, Rooted in Love, you'll see around the building. This is our theme for our stewardship campaign. So now I'm going to ask Russ Green to come forward, and he will speak from the podium there and introduce those persons that we're having to talk to us in regards to why they support Grace Church. And Russ is also going to show off the t-shirts, because every campaign has to have t-shirts.
Good morning. So, as Alberta said, Rooted in Love is the theme of our stewardship campaign for this year. So not only are we standing on God's shoulders, but we're rooted deep in God's love. So this scripture reading for this comes from Psalm 1, verse 3. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season. So the context for that, setting apart the we. And actually, can you read the back? I don't have eyes in the back of my head, despite
Okay, therefore, since through God's mercy we have this ministry, we do not lose heart.
Yeah, so the we is we. And the context here is setting apart the we who trust in God's path rather than following those who reject God's values. And since money follows values, our stewardship will flow from our deep roots in God's stream of love and grace. In my Good News Bible that I used all through my teenage years, the New English Version, consolidating those verses just a little bit, ... between some of them, in other words. The first psalm begins, "Happy are those who reject the advice of those who have no use for God. They are like trees that grow beside a stream that bear fruit at the right time." Again, our verse. We must be rooted in that love, and we must allow our financial support to follow our values, to nourish the work of God. And to start off with that, we're going to be hearing from some folks. Ellen, my wife, is going to start that in terms of why these folks support Grace. So why do you support Grace?
I support Grace Congregational United Church of Christ because this is my family. And you have supported me and my family through fun times and not so fun times. You've always been there for us. I also support Grace Church because of the music ministry. That's what brought us here originally. And I play in the bell choir, and I sing in the choir, and I've been in musicals, which was a first for me. It was truly frightening, but it brought more out of me than I thought, could be brought out of me. And I know that that is a ministry to people who are sitting in the pews, but I'm a little more selfish than that. It feeds me. So I want to give to Grace Church, but I also get fed by Grace Church. On a day, Mondays are hard, when you go back to work and you say, Monday, and then there's bell choir Monday night, and I'm like, I can't even read music at this point. And then I come home totally refreshed because of the music. And Wednesdays are even better with choir. I also support Grace Church because I'm challenged here. I'm challenged to look at things from other perspectives because we don't all agree on everything. And if we did, it'd be really boring. I am challenged because this is a Congregational United Church of Christ church. Congregational means that our power, our decision-making, our understanding of God starts with the congregation. And you know what? That's messy. It's easier to have somebody tell you what to do, but that's not what congregational churches are. And I'm thrilled to be part of the United Church of Christ because besides the scriptures that Russ mentioned for the stewardship campaign, the two scriptures that mean the most to me are from Micah. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God? And James, and this is a paraphrase, I will show you my faith by my deeds. And I think the United Church of Christ does that. And it gives us more strength in numbers than just a single church. Being a part of the United Church of Christ and its ministry of justice and respect for the world, I'm just thrilled to be a part of that. I support Grace Church because with everything that we've studied here through Learning with Grace or spiritual growth before that, we started learning about what was happening at the border. And this church has empowered me and others in this congregation to start Bridge to Rutland, and has supported us along the way and has made our dream of justice in this area flourish. I'm just thrilled that one of our guests chooses to come to this church, and you have been so welcoming. And so, I just got a thing in the mail the other day that said, you know, if you give us $100, we have matching funds for another $200, it makes it like $300. Well, that's awesome. But what I give to this Grace Church through my support of time and energy and finances comes back to me more than double or triple. It comes back to me and fills my life. And that's why I support Grace Church and invite you to do the same. And home is where the heart is, and my heart is here. Thank you.
Good morning. All right, for people who don't know me, my name is Tegan Kirkoukin, and I support Grace Church because Grace Church has always been there for me. I have been coming to Grace Church since I was little. You know, I don't know. So, and I have sung in the choir since I was 5. Gretchen let me join, even though technically I was too young, promised to memorize the music. From joining music at a young age, I still sing in the choir. I went up through all of the different choruses that were offered here, and just the joy and the friendships and the knowledge and the skills that Grace has provided me is fantastic. Furthermore, when I got old enough, they had a youth group, drew me back in the teenage years when sometimes, you know, you're like, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then I continued to come because I love this community.
There you go. Hi, Barbara Kirk, who dragged 3 children to this church when they were young. Because I felt you get to a certain age and I went off to college. My father died and I really needed to work and be in school, and then I got married, and then I started having children, and there was a hole. There was just a little hole in my life, and I realized I didn't have a faith community. So we all come to our spirituality and our faith by different paths. Mine, again, is music. I think this little group is the musical group. For others, it's praying. For others, it's volunteering. For others, it's studying. And for some, it's simply attending the church service. In Grace, there's a place and acceptance of everyone, and that's what I love. We can discuss, we can laugh, we can cry, we can argue without fear of rejection. There have been many changes in personnel since I first started coming to this church, but Grace goes on. We have many, many beloved traditions, but we're not afraid to move forward with new progressive ideas and start new traditions. So wherever you are in life's journey, I feel like you're always welcome at Grace Church, and that's why I support Grace. Thank you.